Good morning. The Gingy Corral.
All I can think of is Shrek. I'm gone. Here, you do it. I'll make it look like I'm standing on your hands. Ready? Ah.
Push up. Hold on.
But you're not under my legs. Ready? I'm trapped.
Here, I'm gonna smush you.
You can't go up with your hands. You can just go down. We did it.
Yay.
Success. Okay. Oh, I don't feel good.
Hey, I don't feel good.
I didn't say don't feel good.
Oh.
Okay.
I got Sissy that way. She said something, and I said a dad joke. She's like, Dad, that doesn't work. Or something. Pretty funny. Good morning, people.
We're doing Ask Us Anything today.
Yep. Ask us anything, and well, I titled it on Facebook Live, and
What's that sound? Your alarm is going off in there.
Oh, I gotta text Cody. Will you bring my other phone, please? Okay, guys, this is the pre-show. You know the deal. We're not going yet.
Here.
It should be pretty good. Hold on, I have to Voxer my coach real quick. Yesterday felt like it ended without closure, so I can't wait to hear the resolution. Yes, it did. And there is a resolution. Hey Cody, what's up? Got up, did all my stuff, worked out. We're about to go live here for the show and have a call with you at 7:30. All right, see you soon. Okay.
I had to Voxer my coach too. Check.
Voxer's like a walkie-talkie. I love it.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Anatomy of Marriage podcast. I am your host, Melanie Studley.
Good morning. My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today is day 75, and it's titled Ask Us Anything, Deeper Healing and Big Changes Up Ahead.
If you're new here, welcome. We have 293 episodes all about marriage and relationships because sometimes it's hard and we want to make it better. As always, our show is brought to us by Audible. You can get a free audiobook on us, like literally right now, if you go to audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage. It helps us out, but it also gets you a free audiobook, and that's the most important part. So thank you, Audible, for that.
Yep.
And as always, we are live on Facebook and Instagram. What am I trying to say? Every day of the week at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's what's going on. And what are you laughing
Well, I
at?
have to stop the show because Miss Poodle to you just joined. And I don't know who you are, Miss
very
Poodle,
cute.
but I love your handle. So
Every day we read a review of the day and then we answer your questions. Today we're going to do a follow-up from yesterday's conversation because it was very unsettled yesterday at the end of the show. And we had a really amazing conversation just privately. And again, if you're live on the streams, you can ask us anything. It can be about anything. It doesn't need to be about relationships. So why don't you read the review?
okay, Okay, 5 stars. JJ the Jet Plane says, my favorite podcast, Melanie and Seth. I can't thank you enough. Yesterday, using the clearing structure and all the advice I've received from listening to your podcast, I started repairing my broken relationship with my dad. I was able to express to him my hurt he had unknowingly caused me, and we had a wonderful, open, and honest conversation, and has given me hope that we can restore our relationship. Apart from that, Melanie and Seth have helped my fiancé and I learn new ways to communicate and navigate the ups and downs of our relationship. I love everything about this podcast, and I'm so looking forward to their premarital series.
Yes. Thank you
Awesome.
for that review. And how amazing is that our tools are helping with relationships with parents. So
That's
please
right.
hear that. You can get the clearing structure that she mentioned at anatomyofmarriage.com. It's just one of our tools. You can download it. And it tells you how to work through it. And there's also a video if you can find to show you how to do it.
Last year, I mailed my dad a letter, and it was a worksheet called Letting Go. And I didn't
Which we
create
have
that.
that
I just
on
kind of tweaked it. And he has thanked me like a couple of times for sending him that. And just letting go of like baggage and stress and all kinds of emotional stuff. And it was really cool because we don't have the best relationship. It's definitely room for improvement there. And I did the same thing with my dad. So yeah, it works with non-romantic relationships as well.
All relationships.
Good job, JJ the jet plane.
And thank you for the review.
Yeah, somebody says, once school starts, will you guys be sticking to the same schedule? I'm not sure yet.
No, I mean it's going to be tricky because our kid Mariner is in middle school, so he starts at 8, and then our other kids start at 9. So there's going to be a transition period because one, we're probably also moving at this around the same time. So we're in the process of buying this property with a trailer home on it. It's going to be so cool. I cannot wait. So the schedule will probably change. And Candy, I love you. Candy's my friend.
But we'll let you know.
We'll
keep you updated. Somebody says, what is the best way to handle things when one person in the relationship has high anxiety and just cannot make a decision?
That's a great question.
That is a great question. So I struggle with anxiety. I think my family of origin has a lot of anxiety kind of wrapped up in it too. And I believe yours does too. The families just present very differently. Talk about it. There's different interventions. Of course, obviously, therapy. Go to therapy for anxiety. There's some cognitive behavioral stuff and exercises that you can do to kind of rewire some thinking there. And I find it helpful when I get anxious just to kind of name that anxiety and go, okay, and then weigh it against perceived,
threat.
Perceived threat, perceived
neglect. That's from Dr. Les and Leslie Parrott, season 1.
And kind of weigh that and like do a kind of a body check-in. I find breathing, just some quick breathing exercises, box breathing, 4-4-4-4, really works good. And because it's kind of like this, sometimes anxiety, at least for me, it snowballs, right? And I get anxious about being anxious, and then that goes to more anxiety or whatever, and you just have to like stop it and go, okay, of course there's different levels of anxiety. Some can be acute, some can turn into panic attacks, others can be just like low level, I'm just kind of anxious, and that again presents in different ways. But yeah, acknowledging it, and then I guess supporting your spouse in that. You can also help to like, hey, it seems like you're anxious. If there's anything I can do for you, just to name it right now, just name it, and we'll talk about it, do a body check-in, and kind of like, boom.
Well, and something that I just thought of, which I don't know if this exists, it seems like it must, but there's got to be some type of, and if there isn't, someone should make, some type of like questions where you could answer like yes or no, like if you had 2 or 3 options and you could kind of go through each one and be like, okay, this is slightly better than this one, and this thing is slightly more desirable than that outcome. And this is just what I'm thinking for myself. If this was something I struggled with, which I don't, but if it were, I would like to have a tool that let me get it out of my head onto a piece of paper where it's like the yes no almost idea, and then present it to Seth, if that makes sense. So I would say, seriously, this is just popping into my head, so if it's weird, who cares? But I would write it out and kind of let the person with anxiety come to their own conclusion. And even if the conclusion is, I don't know, but this option seems a little bit better, and then they can hand it to their partner and say, can you help me here? And then you can sort of work together to come up with the answer there. Because I think that's it's too much to ask the person who can't do that to do it. A perfect example is our son. Like, he has ADD and anxiety, and if you ask him to just straight up make a decision, he'll fall apart. He can't do it. Like, he can't. But you can give him the tools to help him get there.
Okay, here's the thing. I think I've talked about it on the show before, but I love this intervention, and I made it up, and I call it lunch lady syndrome, right?
Oh, yeah. It's very much like that.
And it's a thing where, it's called decision fatigue, right?
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly being in the lunch line in elementary school and thinking, I give the lunch lady my lunch ticket, Miss Price. And no, she was the custodian.
Yes, go on.
Sorry. And whatever came on the little square teal tray was like, "That's what I'm eating."
Yeah.
Okay, and there was no decision involved, right? And of course, now we can do anything, anytime, anywhere, and we have everything available to us. Decision fatigue is a real thing.
Yeah.
So just and this is a CBT practice too. Like,
Cognitive
okay, there's I'm going to give myself 3 choices, and you have to be really intentional on this, or 2 choices, this one or this one. this one might be better for this place and time, and this one would be. But I'm not going to go through every laundry list of stuff because we get decision fatigue, and we're just like, oh,
It's
I don't know.
overwhelming,
Then we get anxious about being anxious. What's up, Rhea? What's up, TJ?
Says, I miss your guys' long form shows a lot on specific topics. Going to go back to that direction at all? Let's talk about it. Yes, we are.
Yes,
so,
we are, in fact. Hold on.
We will talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, that's a thing. So when discussing intimacy with your spouse
Goes bad.
when discussing intimacy with your spouse goes bad, really bad, how do you overcome fear and anxiety to be able to try again when you no longer feel like it's a safe zone? Ooh, okay. So
First of all, clearing structure.
Yes.
If you have not used the clearing structure, go to anatomyofmarriage.com to the tools section and get the clearing structure. I want you to sort out whatever went wrong first. Do not just try to dive into bed again.
No,
don't
you
do that.
What's up, Stephen? You absolutely have to process that. And John Gottman, if you go to the GottmanInstitute.com, I think it's .com. Just look up Gottman, Gottman, and he has a I think it's called like a fight recovery toolkit, and it's free. I used to have little booklets when I had a private practice. And it's free, and it's like little booklets. It does highlight some of the stuff in the clearing structure, but it is a recovery thing. And this is really interesting because we went to the little park golf course yesterday, and Hattie, our daughter, lost her brain, right? It was time to go, and
she was tired.
She was like super tired and like had too much sugar at grandma's or something, but she was just like, okay, 7 years old, no! And it was...
Oh, she's freaking out.
It was pretty funny. Of course, we didn't make fun of her, but she was just...
She was like
lost.
hiding from us.
Her brain was out of her body on the ground, right? And it was funny. So, and then I gave her a choice. I was like, okay, it's time to go. Either I can pick you up or you can walk with me, you know? And she didn't choose that, so I like picked her up, and she was like, you know? And then I just like talked to her. She put her head on my shoulder and started crying, and I listened to her. I was like, you know, what made you upset? And it was really cute of what made her upset, and I don't have to get into that. But the point is, she lost her brain. I came to her, and we repaired. Like, I listened to what she was saying, and literally, it just like melted everything away.
Yeah.
And she was hugging, and and I even got in the car. I was like, we repaired it with Hattie, right? So when a rift happens in relationships, romantic or otherwise, there always has to be repair, because it's like, you're not going to ride a bike on a flat tire, right? Your bike's going, boom, you hit a nail, it's flat. You don't go, oh, well, tomorrow maybe things will smooth over and it'll inflate itself. No.
Yeah.
You have to repair it, right? Much like relationships. So the clearing structure is key, and then also look up, just Google Gottman. It's Gottman Recovery something like that.
Hold on, but then the next step I would say in repairing that is then having, once you repair the damaged part, the bad conversation, get all of your feelings out, but be respectful, be kind. Then when you start to go into the next phase, which is creating sort of like the new thing that you want to have, or the sort of connected stuff that you want to have, that's a whole different realm of being with one another. And you can literally use the clearing structure over and over and over again for those conversations.
That's
like,
right.
It's important that you go very slowly, though.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
Stephen and Hatisha Brown, who are awesome friends in Canada, you should be friends with them, says, I feel like every day is that with our four girls. At least one has turned into a complete lizard each day.
Right. Hattie was like, "Wah!" She was hiding, and it was all because of golf balls, teal
when
golf balls.
When he says lizard, he means lizard brain. We flip our lid and go to our amygdala and totally react.
Fight, flight, and freeze.
That's right.
Very funny. Okay. But anyway, so we wanted to talk about yesterday's live, or our podcast yesterday that ended, and it was very uncomfortable, and we were like, I felt like I didn't know what was going on, and Seth felt uncomfortable. Obviously he felt unhappy and whatever, and so after we got off of the live, I went to go publish it, and then Seth came into the Mariner's bedrooms where I published the show, and he came in and was like kind of getting ready to leave, but you could tell he was really upset, and I'm like, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up. So I, can we talk a little bit or whatever? And then we had a really long conversation. How do you summarize that conversation? How did it feel from your side?
So something in the question that was sent in and that we reviewed yesterday, I don't know what it was. Well, honestly, I woke up kind of feeling...
It was a question about living with Eeyore. It was that question.
Right. And I think I woke up feeling deflated and from the conversation we had the previous night, because you were saying all this stuff, and I was like, well, what is right? You know, what is like, what do I do right? You know, and it's not like pat on the back or anything, but it was very kind of like, geez, this feels just like a huge weight, and I'm like trying, you know. And I think it was a real culmination of a lot of stuff that I've been feeling for years and years and years and years, like literally. And just woke up. I even like Voxered Cody and said, I don't know. How about this? I felt just like S, and was like, this is just depressing.
Salad.
I felt like salad. And was just overwhelmed and everything. And I was, you know, writing stuff out. And when I feel overwhelmed like that, I'm like, whatever. I don't want to work out. I don't want to write. I don't care about anything. I just want to self-soothe and go get a scone or whatever. Like, seriously, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not the way to do it. If you want to get out of something, then be consistent and do what you know to do that makes you get out of that. Drink water, go run, work out. Right. Right. And I was like, ugh. So I made myself do all that stuff, and it worked, and then came back, but I was still feeling the emotional heaviness of like, oh my goodness, what's going on here?
Well, and let me say what our conversation the night before was, because like there's a lot going on in our life. We're trying to buy a home. Like I said, we said this yesterday. We're living temporarily at an apartment, which our kids aren't used to. We're trying to buy a home. That takes a huge toll on your finances and your time. Seth's trying to manage all of that. Our kid breaks his arm. Our kid has all these therapy appointments that we have to, doctor's appointments.
He went to the ER weeks ago, then the ER again.
Days ago.
For the first time.
So we've got 2 ER visits, like, we're waiting to get billed for. Like, there's just everything that can be stressful is pretty much going on. And so yesterday, the day before yesterday, at the night when I approached you, I think what I was doing was I was like, okay, I'm really overwhelmed. I feel really stressed out. The only thing I know to do from my family of origin is attack Seth. Like, that's the only thing that I knew to do.
You were giving it all to me.
Yes, but my hope was that, and this is so weird to say because we've done this same cycle for literally our entire marriage. My hope was that he would see, for some, like imagine I'm a cat and I'm going, but somehow I think you as the owner of the cat will be like, oh, it just wants to be pet. Like, no, you're going to kick the cat out and slam the door in its face because you're like, stop freaking attacking me, right? But that's what I know. Like, what I know is you complain, you get mad, you point fingers, you lay blame, and then you somehow expect that your partner is going to like, oh, I get it. I see, right? And that's what I was doing. That's what I've done forever. Not a good method. And that's what I was doing the other night. And so what I was wanting to have happen was that Seth would attune to me, that he would hear that I was stressed, that he would go, oh, you're right, that did make it harder when I did X, Y, and Z thing. I'm so sorry. But I was attacking you. Like, why would you ever think that you should be nicer to me? I was being mean to you, right? And so that was part of what was happening the night before that triggered him feeling so bad the next day. And then the awkward live conversation. And then after that, yesterday live, we had the sort of coming together conversation where I feel like what I understood and what was so eye-opening for us was that I really understood for the first time, like, that I thought I had been changing my family of origin patterns in myself by being like happy, because I'm naturally pretty like woo, stuff's fun. And so I thought, well, that's how I've been breaking the mold, right? I'm trying to be more fun. I jump into a pool, like, that's new. Whoa, look at me. But what I hadn't realized was that I was still getting the majority of my like social, the people I talk to are my family, right? I have friends, but I mostly talk with my family. And so I was getting so much like input, not bad, none of it's bad, but it was all input that was family of origin. It's all people who see things the same exact way that I see them. And I was getting sort of like hearing all these people saying, why would Seth do that? Why would Seth go hunting? Oh, Seth wants to sell his car. Why would Seth buy that car? Why wouldn't he do this? And it was almost like I was fully blind to the fact that I was projecting so much family of origin right onto you. And I was doing it in an ugly way, in a way that was not honoring how you're different from me. And I was expecting that I could attack you, and then you would see I was needing love somehow. I mean, it's all stupid, people. I was being an idiot. And so tell me what it felt like yesterday when we had that conversation, and what do you think changed?
Well, I was really, you just made my fiance so normal.
Someone's commenting.
That is funny. So, I'll get to the comments here in a minute. I think that I was holding in years and years of, I guess, tears and also anger and resentment. And, anger and resentment were like after feelings, but I think I was holding in so much
pain, I would say.
Hurt, right? After that. That's why I cried and stuff. We both cried a ton. And it was like sad, and then also very, very, I don't know what the word is, freeing or encouraging or healing, I guess, for you to see me in a different way, and for me to say things differently. And I'm doing some real super, I guess, intentional work around Enneagram stuff, Enneagram 9 stuff, of growth points. And okay, you want change, and the Enneagram is like a window into your soul kind of thing. So I'm like, oh, this explains me perfectly. And the areas that it says I need to grow in, and where I shy away from, and I need to like dive into and get closer to, are areas that I don't want to, right? So that means I'm like, oh, these are the exact same ones, right? It's like the darkest, deepest cave is the one that you need to go down, right? And I've been doing that, and that's exposing things to you about me and my personality, and how you can understand me deeper, you know? And like I think one of the core needs of a Enneagram 9 is to like be understood and understand yourself, and have other people have that same, I guess, window, you know, that I long for on the very deepest level.
Well, and you had done this thing recently where he had taken it was sort of like a mashup of Enneagram stuff and then the Think and Grow Rich stuff. Was that right?
Yeah.
So there's a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and then there's was it Enneagram Institute questionnaire?
Yeah, the EnneagramInstitute.com. Enneagram test, and that's where I got a bunch of the information.
Oh, okay. And so he married them together, and he wrote out this thing for himself that was like and it came up in our conversation the other day, where he just it just came to his head, and he said, here, read this. I think you'll understand me better if you read this. And I swear to you guys, it was like, I don't know my husband at all. I read this thing and I was like, I literally was floored. I was like, this is who you are? Like, what? And not in a bad way. It was amazing and so insightful, but it was literally like at the very end of the day, we've got kids talking nonstop, and so we didn't talk about it that night. We talked about it after yesterday's live, and it was like transformative. So it was really hard. It's very hard to explain, because when I reread it, it doesn't seem that shocking or weird or whatever, but it put to words the things that I see in your character that are almost evidence to me of how amazing you are, if that makes sense. Sounds super vague. It doesn't make sense even when I say it. But that was sort of the thing that tipped the scales and changed how I see you. Yeah,
and I think the thing that hurt so bad, that has hurt so bad, that I've always been that person on the list.
Yeah, but I mean, it's never been stated anywhere, and
it's never been stated, and I kind of expected you to know.
I know that's
probably wrong of me to assume things, but maybe, how about this? Maybe I expected you to know, but it couldn't. That couldn't happen until, wow, this makes perfect sense. That couldn't happen until I knew myself.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the Enneagram 9 things is I can't do anything for anybody unless first I believe it, practice it, and do it for myself, right? Because Enneagram 9s, I don't know, maybe they have self-doubt or something, or they look to other people to find themselves, you know, okay, yeah, what do you say I am? And it's so freaking weird. Just looking back, historically, even from a young age, I'm oh yeah, I loved it when people talked about me, because I'm oh, that gives me insight into who I am. And it's just it's so so like cosmic and weird. I don't mean to get like woo or anything, but it's just like, okay, this can't be a coincidence kind of thing of like how exactly it describes a person, right? So and like part of the tears were like grief over, I've always been this way.
Yeah.
This is me.
Yeah.
This is how I was born,
well,
right?
and I felt the same exact thing. Like, I felt so bad that I hadn't seen it. And like, I felt just horrible. Like, I felt so terrible as a person to not, like, that your actions somehow didn't translate into knowledge and me understanding you. And it took me reading it. But what an insight and a gift to be able to read it. And you made that whole thing up. Like, you married together two very unrelated things and like made this weird, not weird, but like great map thing for yourself. And it's several pages long, isn't the whole thing? And so I'm going to go in and do what he did for my own Enneagram number, because it's very insightful. It's like, what are your areas that you struggle in? And you list them out. How can you sort of fix them, I guess? That's not the right word. Improve on them?
Well, let me just say how specifically I did this thing, right? So, and it takes a long time, but it's obviously worth it because it was such a huge thing in our relationship. So I took the Enneagram test on the Enneagram Institute, and it came up with 3 numbers for me, right? 9, 7, and 4. And I read all of those extensively, and after months and months, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely a 9, but I have 7 and 4 traits, right? Because in the growth areas, you can read them and go, oh, yes, I do that. So my growth areas are an amalgamation, a combination of 4, 7, and 9 things that I need to improve upon, right? And then part of that, first of all, it stemmed from the so if you haven't read Think and Grow Rich, it's not about money, it's about mindset and everything.
It's really good.
And actually making things appear in your life that you want, and it's trippy, but it's awesome. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Get the Audible book.
I've listened to it like 1901.
Literally, yeah, I've listened to it like 4 times, and that's not a joke. 4 times, and did all the exercises in there. And it's called auto suggestion, and it's kind of like modern day. Like, okay, what is it? Create what you want to see. Right? We have that on our wall right here. Create what you want to see. Write it down. Visualize it. Plan it out, all these things, and like you can walk towards that, and it will materialize, and things will come to you. It's universe juice, right? So all of this stuff, and wrote all this stuff, and it's like the epitome of intentional, right? So you can write it all out, but then guess what? The last factor of that is you have to read it every single day, and then you like go into your subconscious mind and like, okay, I am this kind of thing, and it's working, and it's awesome, right? So that's the exercise. You're going to do it, and it's such. I don't think you can get realer than that. At least in this point in my life, I can't get realer than that. Probably, tomorrow I'll be like, oh yeah, something new.
I'm realer. Yeah, but it was really incredible. Just this weird moment of like, how is this possible that this one? I mean, I only read 1 page of all of the pages that he had, and I was like, just my jaw hit the floor. I couldn't believe it. And so I wanted to share the conversation that followed and sort of how we walked through that, because the conversation yesterday after our live was really transformative. I feel like it was like it broke through this like years wide dam that we had built between one another that we couldn't understand, and we thought like we could tips and tools it away. We thought we could kind of like hack it away, and really it wasn't that. It was like we needed deeper understanding. We needed like attunement to one another in a new and deeper way, and this thing that you did created that. So it was shocking. I was completely floored by it. Thank you so much. And it has literally like the veil has dropped of my eyes of like, oh, I get when Seth has said historically, why are you so mean? I get it now. I didn't get it before. I thought, oh, I'm just hurting his feelings. No, I was literally like hurting his soul. I was, and I was not honoring your part. Like if we are the sun and the moon, I wasn't honoring you at all. I was like, Flapjack you, Moon. I'm doing my own thing. Someone said they didn't like it when we said F, so I'm going to start saying funny words. So Flapjack you, Moon.
Nice.
But so it's just been really helpful, and I wanted to talk about that. But we need to talk about our other things before we've got to run.
So basically, I saved our marriage.
You did. But only after I saved it with season 1. Speaking of season 1, so we have a lot of things going on in the next couple of months, and we have a whole scheduled out change in the works right now. And I need you to focus, or I cannot focus. Thank you. And so we're going to end out our 100 days of Q's and A's. That'll end sometime in October. So we're going to do this for the next 30 something. It's more than that because we don't do it on the weekends. So if you have questions, get them in the next 30 days, or between now and October or whatever, because that is going to go away. This daily live thing is going to go away, but don't worry, it'll be somewhere else. So that we're going to wrap up the 100 days of Q's and A's, like I said, mid-October-ish. And then we're working with an amazing lady down in Texas, Leslie. She's helping me relaunch the workbook for season 1. And we're going to go through season 1 hyper intentionally. We're re-releasing all of season 1 because if you haven't heard it, it's phenomenal. I'm going to redo some of the audio in it, make it better. That was the first audio stuff I'd ever done, so I'm going to fix it, tweak it up, get it nice.
Yeah, even if you've listened to season 1,
this is a whole different.
It will be the same, but also different.
It'll be enhanced.
Yeah, it's because we are light years.
Different.
We are light years from where we were 2 years ago, which I think growth is good, obviously.
Yeah.
And that'll be really cool.
So we're going to re-release season 1, and it's going to have the refurbished, remade workbook. We're trying to get it printed. We're trying to get it into either a printed form or an ebook or something like that. And then we're going to work through it together with y'all in the Anatomy of Marriage Mastermind. Okay, so we have several things going on. I want to try to be as intentional and slow as I explain this. So we are doing the AOM Mastermind, which is its own subset thing. We're working through season 1 with you guys in real time, working through the workbook, all of that stuff. And then we will also be launching our premarital series, which is its own universe unto itself. It's a giant series. It's got tons of stuff to it. So we're doing that. What else are we doing? I'm forgetting something. Oh, we're going to be promoting and talking about the app all of the time because the app is freaking amazing. Like, it's amazing. We're super excited about it. So we'll start talking about that. I'm just realizing the time though, and we 100% have to wrap it up because we've got a call.
It's okay.
What time's our call?
7:30. So we have
like 7 minutes.
That's okay.
But anyway, so we have a lot of things changing. We are not going to be disappearing from daily stuff, but it just won't be in this spot anymore. It's going to be over in our mastermind. Sorry. And so we're kind of shifting how we work for many, many, many different reasons. We've got lots of great things coming up. We're going to be speaking in Utah in November. I'm going to be speaking at a women's retreat in October. I can't wait. I'm singing in a wedding in September. I can't wait for that.
I don't know if we've told you guys this or not, but we got an invite to Nashville, right? Not only Nashville, but an invite to a actually very small invite-only thing with Dave Ramsey.
It's so exciting.
So we're going to be hanging out with Dave Ramsey.
And Rachel Cruz.
And Anthony O'Neill.
Christy Wright.
And if you
Ken
guys
Coleman.
Ken Coleman. If you guys don't know, Dave Ramsey crew, they put out a lot. Chris Hogan, a lot of good stuff. And so we're going to a 2.5 day influencer event. And we got freaking invited to this. We didn't even try.
We didn't even do anything.
Okay, that's nuts.
Yeah.
And then with our good friend Paul Vetter, he introduced us to another person, and we will be right outside of Atlanta about a week after the Nashville event. And that's at a giant, it's called the Marriage Collective, and that's invite only too. I'm like, I don't know how this happened.
Yeah, I know.
But it happened, and it's going to be rad. So we will be in Nashville, and yes, Southeast AOM meetup in Nashville.
Yes, we will make a Nashville meetup happen. And
we're going to make a Nashville meetup and also a Greenville, South Carolina meetup. That's where I'm from. I know that town like the back of my hand.
Oh, that's so exciting.
So do you, because you've been there 100 times.
Yeah.
And we're gonna that will be really fun. So there's
we're
gonna
go to Mass General Store and get candy. I'm just kidding.
Right. There's gonna be 2 meetups coming up. Maybe we should try to do one in Las Vegas if we have any, our Utah area. If we have any fans down there or people who would want to
Grand Canyon meetup.
Yeah.
In November. It'll
Yeah.
be cold. But anyway, so we're going to talk more about the masterminds later. Yes, they are. It's kind of like the counseling group that we were talking about. So we're calling it masterminds so that nobody sues us. Like, we don't want to get sued. But yeah, masterminds are going to be totally different. I've written up all this stuff about it. All this stuff is coming right around the bend. We're giving y'all till mid-October. We're going to talk about it. We're going to promote it, get all these things going and up and running. But there's just huge changes in the line for us, which is all really amazing. So thank you for being with us and supporting us and being our family, right? This is just the coolest thing ever. So we have to literally run right now, and Savannah is freaking out.
I'm freaking out.
I'm freaking out. Okay, all right. We love you guys.
All right.
Have an amazing day.
All right, bye guys. So somebody says, what is Masterminds? Is that the counseling group?
Yeah, I just answered
yes.
that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Stephen Brown, so excited. This is beautiful. I love you too. The honesty and transparency and everything. You don't fake being perfect. No, because we're not.
No.
You're real and continue to learn as you share. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much. So, all right, you guys, we got to hop on another call and catch you tomorrow. And we'll see. Oh my gosh, I love Leslie. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yes,
She is awesome.
she is
okay.
awesome.
Bye, guys.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.